Dennis Weiss, right back with Ben Smith. Gotta say, one of my favorite people.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah.
I always enjoy talking to you.
I had opportunity to visit with you at the school a number of times, and I so enjoy the attitude you bring to our young people.
Oh.
So today's topic, substance abuse, suicide prevention, not quite as much fun to talk about, but so important, isn't it, Ben?
It is. There's some pretty significant links that we see during the school day with how strong a student's mental health is and how well they're able to perform in school. Okay. And there's a lot of factors that can influence a student's performance, especially if there's mental health issues. For example, students who have mental health needs are more likely to engage in other more harmful behaviors, alcohol abuse, substance abuse, self-harm, things like that. And so as a student's mental health goes, the correlation is so goes their success in school and their success in the future. Okay. So anything that we're able to do to try to help bring some positive to that, we're willing to look at. It's important to understand that at schools we are not mental health professionals, and our counselors are not mental health trained counselors. They're there to listen and as a resource, but if we have a student who has needs that are beyond what we're able to help them deal with, then we can help make suggestions to parents as to where they need to go.
We've had a little bit of conversation in front of you here on the camera, and I've said out loud that suicide is the absence of or complete loss of hope. So, but you folks care a lot about the students in your charge there, and I have observed that the students have some very positive relationships with your people too. I've seen that. So you're in an ideal position to see hope fading away.
Yeah, and it's also important to understand that suicide in of itself is a mental health issue, and it's not really anything beyond that. For example, there's no researchers out there who are able to pinpoint a link between, say, bullying and suicide. Regardless of the things that we've been taught by the media for the last 15 years, if you were to go to the Center for Disease Control, if you were to go to stopbullyingnow.org, they will tell you that they can't find a link between bullying behavior and suicide. It's mental health.
I can say that I'm glad you said that. I think that's true. I think that's true, but I'm glad you're the expert and you said it on camera.
And it stunned me when I first came across that.
It gives me freedom to say that that's a healthful thing to say. Mm-hmm. Because Ben, you just said that the power to change it resides in the individual and their state of their mental health. And we can help a person.
Right.
We may not be able to affect a bunch of process that person doesn't control, but we can help a person.
Right, and oftentimes with mental health, that person is lacking the tools and the strategies within themselves, and that's where the external help is so very important.
The guest who sat in the chair just before you all brought something to that conversation, because this program brought to us by the Quality of Life Coalition is about tools to help people.
And to that end, there's something that the school district is looking at doing. We're kind of in its infancy, and kind of began in a conversation that we had with Vicki, and there's a community-wide bringing together of resources that we're looking at starting. We've had the conversations a couple times. We had a large group meeting several months ago at the board office, and we're looking at continuing on, and it very much fits into the grant and that combination of sources that Vicki talked about. Mm-hmm. And what we're looking at doing is a community-wide collaboration. We've met with officials and people who've come out and helped with the process. And the first meeting is going to be about sharing concerns from the different agencies. And we've brought law enforcement in, they're going to be there as well. And really look at what are our common goals. And the common goals are going to be under a broad umbrella of improving mental health, and a subcategory of that might be substance abuse, drug abuse, suicide, self-harm, things like that. Okay. And so this isn't necessarily the school's, first, it's not the school's issue to take care of. I mean, we're a part of it, but we can't be expected to solve it.
Right.
And second, our involvement in a larger community-wide piece is what we're really looking at doing. So it's not anything that's going to be necessarily spearheaded or run by the school district. There's some people who are stronger, better trained than we are to help with mental health.
You've probably heard me say before, Eagle Communications, our community connected. It's become our tagline. And the reason it's there is because we really believe that. That community connected thing, our little town and our little elevator, our little line art logo, you know, that is who we are. Happy to hear you say this is not the school's issue and we can't be expected to solve that. These are people. They don't just belong to you.
Right.
They belong to their parents. They also belong to maybe Sonic where they work. They belong to the club they're in. They belong to other associations, their local church, there are other things they do. They belong to the guy who watches them walk down the sidewalk. And when he sees that maybe the 13-year-old shouldn't be carrying a six-pack of beer, you know, that it's that accountability to talk to people and to have an accountability back to you and me as an organization. It's important that we address it that way, not just, hey, school, fix it.
Right, and we're key players, and we, you know, our involvement is as key players who spend a lot of time with kids every day. And so we're in a more unique position to be able to see some of the troubles. Doesn't matter what level of school you're at, when you drop your kid off at school, there's 7 to 8 hours that parents don't get to observe their kids, especially in a large social situation. And so we're in a unique position to see that. Doesn't mean we're going to catch everything, and doesn't mean that even a student's outward behaviors are going to be totally observable by non-professional mental health people.
Sure.
But we certainly are key players.
Raising the warning flag is an important thing. Well, it's our camera, so they let me do things like this occasionally. You know, the severest condemnation in the scriptures was to the watchman on the wall who didn't blow his horn. And as each of us look at our world around us, and in this case, underage drinking, it's our obligation to be willing to sound the warning of what we see. We don't have to be an expert to say, I think there's a problem. And then as a group, you know, we did have an expert in a chair right in front of you. This is what he does. So there are experts available, and we're bringing Andy Brown back to talk about this topic in our community and town hall meetings, and our audience can come and learn, and they can learn to be watchmen on the wall, be faithful watchmen, and be willing to say, I think there's something wrong here, and I'm here available to help, and I'll help you find the help you need.
And even a step further than that, to say, I don't know if this is a problem or not, but I'm going to bring it to somebody who maybe know how to find the person who can say if it's a problem or not.
Well done. Ben Smith, so glad to see you.
Thank you.
Thanks for coming in. Thanks for your work on this.
Sure, thanks, Dennis.
Folks, we know you have enjoyed the opportunity to meet the guests in the chair today. We know you care about our community, underage drinking, substance abuse, and suicide prevention. We will see you at the town hall meetings, and we look forward to your support. For Eagle Communications, I'm Dennis Weiss. Have a great day.
Oh, hey, bud. Where are you headed?
Just gonna hang out.
With Gary and Todd?
Yeah?
I've been meaning to ask you, is there any drinking going on in this crowd?
No?
If any of your buddies ever pressure you to take a drink, just tell them you promised your dad you wouldn't. I'd do anything to keep you safe.
Okay, I will.
I hope this is working.
I promise. Love you too, Dad.
They really do hear you. For tips on what to say, visit underagedrinking.samhsa.gov.